The rat race is absolutely exhausting. My wife and I have done all the right things. She went through school debt-free to get a good job. I started a small business. We have a couple of kids, etc. And it seems like we're constantly in the same position. If we were making the amount of money we are now about 10-15 years ago, we would be doing very well. Thank God we bought a house nearly 10 years ago, because I'm not sure we could afford the same house at these prices and interest rates. We have a modest home, a single paid-for vehicle, and it seems as if financial independence creeps further away with the constant rising costs of everything. Grocery store prices are constantly going up. All the insurance costs are skyrocketing. Property taxes going up. Then someone needs a doctor. Or an appliance breaks. Roof needs redone, but that expensive ass insurance decides they don't want to cover it. Tens of thousands of dollars down the drain. Work more. Pick up shifts. And it disappears as soon as it comes in. Our neighbor has been working his whole life to retire early. Finally retires and then gets cancer. Bye-bye retirement fund. It's exhausting and my wife and I are about fed up. It literally feels like you're a hamster on a wheel of constant stress and anxiety. I applaud those of you who have found the courage to leave the rat race. After the kids grow up, the best option literally seems like to sell everything and buy a camper. Live frugally. And work as little as possible. It's not worth all this effort if there's hardly any reward. Rant over. Remember, even if you win the rat race, you're still just a rat. You really can't win anymore. It seems I had to attend the funeral of a family friend who finally retired in July and then bam, had a heart attack last week. What can I say? We are moving towards feudalistic capitalism. We will work to the max we can, live in the tiniest possible accommodation, and die in debt. But our billionaires and their subordinates will be even happier. I hate the system so much. But until a majority wakes up to the inequity, pointlessness of consumption and unnecessary stress, we are trapped. In the meantime, I am miserable, angry and feeling very hopeless. Yeah, several years in, people tend to find out that doing all the right things aren't really the right things to do at all. Also, most people end up falling for the deception of their employers into continuing down that path. They're banking on the fact that you'll stay stupid and keep going until you're too old and weak to realize the damage you've done to yourself by continuing on that path. This is my exact fear. I don't know where to start career-wise. My experience, nothing pays enough for cost of living, apartment, bills, car, etc. As someone who is 60, I wholeheartedly agree. My company recently switched to 410s, and having a 3-day weekend is a benefit. Also, I no longer despise Mondays. So yeah? What's dumb is that we really have all the control, but we are slaves to consumerism. If we all stopped buying the bullshit, we don't really need this whole goddamn system would collapse. We were told that technology would make our lives easier, but it has just allowed them to work us harder. I could rant and rant and rant about this. You just need more money so you can spend it on more things. Then you'll be happy. Isn't that how it works? Capitalism and philosophical materialism are both illusions and ultimately result in despair, suffering and misery. You cannot have profit without poverty. I think today you need 300k, house, cars, insurance, education funds to feel well off. All of them easily totals 2M. Working is exhausting as it is. Working from an office is even worse, especially an open-planned office where we are subject to scrutiny daily. Like everyone else, I can relate. I am near retirement age and I do not know when I will be able to The sad thing is the middle class no longer exists. I can remember when you could work full-time at a department store like Macy's and sell shoes as an example. That person could afford a middle-class house and a car. Those days are long gone. I quit the normal 8 years ago. Started living in a van to save. Work seasonally, traveling to work for ski resorts and wildfire. Live for the moment now. It's exhausting because you are doing everything. You can't hire helpers because the government doesn't think your struggle and the struggle of millions like you is a priority. This is what neoconservatism does. It's trickle-up economics. The middle class is sucked dry. Because the lower class can only be exploited in cheap labor. As they don't have much to take from them but their time. What I hate is that you can save your pension your whole life but at you die no one in your family will ever see that money. You are exactly what the country and big business wants. Totally in debt with no way out like almost every working person. If you stay broke you are forced to do whatever they say and they get it all for nothing. Watch some George Carlin shorts on YouTube. He saw it starting to happen 30 years ago. I mean, why do you need to live and enjoy life? We need to fund wars and help drug addicts and criminals become protective members of society. Rat race is created by the ruling elite to control and exploit the masses. By the way, I think they are trying to pass laws to where what you live in camper, tent, houseboat, etc. you will still have to pay housing taxes because cities are going belly up. You must live in America, where you work to live. I'm a millennial. I'd need to make $100,000 to even think about buying a house. Was doing okay for myself until rent skyrocketed. Now I'm back living paycheck to paycheck. And before I get bombarded with just move comments, my rent is the same or less than anywhere else in my region. Other countries aren't like this. If you think about it, our income is taxed. Everything we purchase is taxed. Land we own is taxed. And then we may still have to pay in for taxes. That's absurd. Not to mention the cost of healthcare. It's all so depressing. Leaving the rat race is not easy either. It's either you can strive to be a nice clean hamster on wheels with the other hamsters or try working less for lower pay and live frugal while working with bottom-feeding sewer rats who are either mentally ill or just total idiots and talk trash about everyone and start drama everywhere they go, and they are the last person who should be judging anyone, so it just makes you feel like less than zero. Sigh, welcome to capitalism. It's simple. We all group up and eat the rich. Overtake them as a swarm. Eat the rich. Capitalism was actually modeled from slavery. Slavery was never abolished, it just changed. You start frugality with kids, too. It's better they learn this early. Have you tried slacking off? And getting your coworkers to slack off too? Seriously. Get as many people to decide what your labor output is worth at your wage and just do that. Then collectively negotiate for wages worth the effort or keep all employees' output at a fair pace. You didn't do exactly everything right to be financially independent. For one, you both wasn't born from wealthy parents. Second, you have kids. Unfortunately, this world ain't built for building family. Have a home and food in your fridge. You got to choose one of these three things. Your body is a corporation, then a corpse. When it all falls down, I'm just gonna let it crush me. The only way out of the system is to start producing your own food. Go off the grid. Don't participate in any type of systemic activity. Embrace God and nature and live in peace. The cheat code is not having kids.